This is the Oakwyn Podcast, featuring Morgan Brown and Michael Yu.
Welcome to the Oakwyn Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Yu.
And I'm Morgan Brown.
And we have a very special guest this morning, Marites Kliem.
Yay, me!
Yay.
Okay, first of all, you're a singer.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was
And a
you singing,
dancer.
though.
Right.
I feel like hopefully by the end of this podcast, we'll get one
Oh my goodness.
song ever. Remember, sorry, it could be just like a couple lines.
Yeah. What's that
Like a
Bette
bar.
Midler song, Wind Beneath My Wings?
Is that you?
Is that-
Are you the wind beneath my
No,
wings?
no, I'm not the wind. You're the wind beneath my wings?
What's your favorite song that you like singing?
Yeah. What's your karaoke like?
Oh, come
big
on. Any
karaoke?
Whitney song,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Oh.
I'm Filipino, right?
Whitney!
Some big
Ballads.
Yes.
Yeah, power ballads.
ballads.
Mine's
Just give
Toni
her-
Braxton. Anything from Toni
Oh.
Braxton.
Ooh,
That's
a deep
very like
alto.
that's very seductive.
Yeah.
What's
The shoulder rolls.
yours?
Mine's Boy George. I like Karma Chameleon.
That trends. Yeah, that
Karma
trends.
Chameleon is a big hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Well-
obviously, right before we got on this podcast, I was just saying these two have this history,
Yeah.
this amazing history. Let's talk a little bit about. First of all, thank you for joining Oakwyn. We're
Oh,
so
yeah, thanks for
thankful
being
to
with
you and being
us.
with us. But let's go back in the day, like
Back
back
in
in that time.
Yeah.
How do you guys know each other?
Oh,
Share
I'm
it with the
so
world.
grateful
So-
to be here again. But yeah, I met Michael when we were brand new baby agents.
Mm-hmm.
Baby agents.
Rookies.
I applied for my license when I was 19. So literally baby. I still had an N on the back of my car. And Michael was driving his mom's van.
Yes,
Yes.
I was. My Toyota Previa.
He just
Powder
recently
blue.
got rid of it.
Yeah.
And so we were both, well, I won't say both struggling. I was struggling as a new agent. And I would just go to Michael as like my big brother and be like, what do I do? And he would talk me off the ledge at
Yeah.
Starbucks many a time.
Right. Yeah. We
Aw.
had such a great time working together in Richmond. So we worked in Richmond, BC. We're both the two youngest people in our office. So
Mhm.
probably what was the average age of?
Oh.
Yeah, it was a.
It was older. Now we're in that age.
No, we're not. I'm cool.
I'm hip.
I'm happening.
My hip.
But like 19 is a really young age. Like
Yeah,
I don't
we
even
started
think
in
we
real
have a
estate, yeah.
19-year-old agent at Oakwyn, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
and
I-
if you're 19, you got your license, call us.
There you go. If I can do it, you can do it. Yeah, I was 19. I applied for my license, fully licensed by the time I was 20.
Okay.
Mhm.
I was just taking some marketing classes. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but my mom was flipping real estate and she was like, I'm working with all these dummy realtors and you're smarter than them. Get your license. And I was like, okay, mom, whatever you say. So I just did it out of pure obedience to my mother.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And then I was like, hey, I actually like this.
Mhm.
And then I just kept going. It was supposed to be my plan B. I was going to be a pop star. And
Yes.
that was, but
Right.
that didn't work out. So
Yeah.
then I ended up just.
Tell us about the entertainment
let's go
background.
for it.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
go for it.
I
Keep
wanna-
talking about
Dive
this.
in,
part.
dive
okay.
in.
Yeah.
Well,
we got it.
yeah. So I was a teenager. I recorded songs, had them on heavy rotation locally here in Vancouver. Performed everywhere, every nightclub, P&E.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I did a lot of songwriting, recording, a little bit of like studio session work. Yeah.
And what was your like number one hit?
It was a song in the early 2000s called Back in the Day.
Okay.
Um,
What's the chorus?
I feel like I need to
Back in
find
the
this.
day?
Oh my gosh. Well, it was re-recorded. It's kind of a long
It's
story.
re-recorded. Okay.
It got
please.
re-recorded.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So somebody else released it after me. So if you find it, I don't know if it'll be my version of it, but
Yours is the original.
I'm the original, the OG.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
And I know how
Um,
hard that is. Is this it?
No.
Okay.
That's not it.
That's called Hamid.
And then, that's not my alter
Well,
ego.
this is a good. Okay. So it's back in the day.
Back in the day, and then I was doing acting as well.
Okay.
So anything like performance arts related, I love doing dancing, that kind of stuff too.
Were you always like that as a
love
kid?
it.
Yes.
Did you? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So every Filipino party, my mom would be like, Marites, the guests are here. Put on a show. It's like, okay, everyone look at me. I'm going to dance and sing.
Oh
and then
my
they'd give me
gosh.
$5 and it
Oh,
was the best
really?
thing ever.
Oh, you got some money
That's so
from that.
funny.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Good.
I didn't. I didn't get any money this because I was not one of those people to
You
pay.
had to pay.
Yeah, like, don't
watch
pay
me.
me.
I'll give you money.
Yeah.
Don't pay me.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, what out of that business
Mm-hmm.
created? What out of that business gave you the experience, and what did you take from that into the
Yeah.
real estate
Mhm.
business?
I think I learned at a really young age. I started acting at 8. So I was on the set for a lot of TV shows or commercials. And so I learned how to work the whole day, like even as a
At
child.
8 years old?
Yeah, you have to be
Wow.
on set the whole day. Even if you're only
Hmm.
on there for 15 minutes, they still have a call time at like 6 or 7 in the morning.
Wow.
And then you just have to hang out. So I didn't have iPads or anything like that.
No.
My kids sit still for 10 minutes. I'm like, oh my gosh, get them an iPad or something.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like you just had to learn to be patient.
Right.
So work ethic was definitely something I learned really young.
Mhm.
And then just connecting with people. I think just getting to know people, and the music industry is the same thing. It's just who you know and
Mm.
networking. So that translated a little bit into real estate.
Wow.
Did you know that about your friend?
I knew that she was, and that's
little
why I
bit.
became her friend, because I was like,
He's trying to use me.
I'm your entourage. So
My backup dancer.
Yeah, I'm like, I can shake it.
So, his shoulder.
Yeah, not too bad.
I feel like that industry is such. You're right. There's some similarities there that bring you to the next.
Are you glad you went down that, or do you regret it? Because it's like a lot. It's a lot for a kid.
It was
right?
a lot of work. And then even
Yeah.
as a teenager, when I kept doing it, I'd go to school. I'd have to take the bus to North Vancouver. And then my mom would come pick me up at 2:00 in the morning after recording all day and all night. And then I have to do my homework and go to school the next day.
Yeah.
And then still the expectation to do well at school, right?
Yeah.
So it was a lot of work. I don't regret it. I think I learned a lot from it. It was great life experience. It made me a little more comfortable in front of camera doing videos for real estate. So there's like a little bit of transferable skills.
Right.
But yeah, there's
That's her trauma. We were talking about this because everyone, there's something there with top producers like yourself that is like really, there's some hardship that you kind of had to learn and get through. There's some resilience in that. And I
Right.
think, it sounds like you really had to work hard and it wasn't a choice. It was just due,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I did enjoy it, but it
enjoyed
was
it.
it was a
Yes.
job.
It was a job.
You couldn't be
Mhm.
like, well, this is just fun, and I'm just gonna do it on the weekend when I want to. It was like, no, we booked a gig. We have to find the dancers. We have to rehearse.
Wow.
You have to learn the lines, or like there was expectations.
Oh my gosh.
What was the big was
amazing.
there a highlight event that you did in your?
I was at the P&E,
Okay.
and so they had like one of these signing booths where people would come and get your autograph.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, this is so dumb. Like, I'm just a local artist. But then the line was huge. And there were some people who got to the front of the line and they're like, who are you? I was like, I just here, let me. So like, they didn't even, they're just in line.
Oh, really?
So that was
Who
kind
are
of
you?
fun.
I'm a celebrity.
I'm someone
I'm
of
a
importance.
celebrity. My
Right.
mom
That's right.
told me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, so it was
amazing.
fun performing at P&E. I enjoyed
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
So
my
you came
gosh.
in 07 with Mike, right? 07?
05 for
Yeah,
me.
05.
she's I'm 06. Yeah.
19 years old, 20
Yeah,
years old.
20, yeah.
How did that go for you for the first little bit?
Well, that was so 2005. The market was hot back
Yeah.
then, right? So I learned how to process deals fast, and I got to cut my teeth really quick because there was so many deals that were happening. I wouldn't say I was rock star right off the bat. I've kind of had this slow, steady, long burn of
Long
a career
Okay.
where it just kind of was like, okay, it was steady. So it wasn't like this amazing story right off the bat, but I was still honestly trying to figure out who I was as a person.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
lacked a lot of self-confidence, even just as a young woman, and figuring that side out at the same time as building a career. So it took me a little bit to get going, but then probably about year 10 when I transitioned into selling from Richmond to Fraser Valley, that's when my career doubled and took
Wow.
off.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Because some people would say like you were in Richmond for some time and then moving to a whole new
I know.
geographical area after like so many years in the business. How was that?
I did it for a boy.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
She's so cute. So I got married in 2011, and my husband was a pastor, and he said to me, God might call me somewhere like Abbotsford. And I said, quote, I will never move to Abbotsford. Well, we got married. He got a job in Abbotsford. And I said, this is career suicide. At the time, the average home price in Richmond was $600,000. The average home price in Abbotsford was $300,000. I said, this is career suicide. This is the dumbest thing I've ever done, but I'm so in love. I don't care.
Right.
And so we picked up, we moved, and my business ended up doubling that next year. And I didn't know a single person in Abbotsford. So
Beautiful.
What do you attribute to that, Marites?
Well, obviously, my faith is really important to me. So
Right.
I believe this was part of God's plan, was relocating me, as well as just being more confident and finding who I am and knowing the value. And I felt like I was a good agent at that point. And then also the church community. It started with just like a couple of people from the church. And then it's like, oh, Marites did a really good job for me. And then I started to build what Michael calls an ecosystem of clients, where it's like I'm the aunt's realtor and their cousin's realtor, their friend's realtor. And so then business just kind of grew from there.
Awesome. So
Family
like
real estate,
I
love
remember that transition period because there was a lot of fear for you, right?
So scared.
Yeah. I remember us going to Starbucks and sitting in those club chairs that they used to have. And Marites was like freaking out. She was like, oh my God, Michael, Abbotsford, I hate it. Like there's nothing to eat there. And she was like, I don't know what's going to happen. Should I? And we really had a long heart to heart at that Starbucks. And I remember afterwards, I was like, I knew you were going to do really well there in the Fraser Valley because we learned, obviously, in probably a bit of a more. Now it's so competitive in the Fraser Valley and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's really, actually the level of experience that agents are giving to their clients is getting so much better. But at the time, it was not like that, right?
Well, I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say anything bad, but yeah.
I was the best. So what can I say?
Right.
I was a big time Vancouver agent coming to the tiny town of Abbotsford. No.
Oh, Abbotsford has grown so much.
Huge. Yeah.
I just went to an awesome brewery there, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Fieldhouse.
Yeah.
It was
it's cool.
awesome. And I don't drink beer anymore, but now I was like drinking it back. I was like, this is great. And they let my dog
It was awesome because she was drunk.
I was drunk. I'm like, this is great. But like it's growing so much.
Yeah, lots of families are moving out there. It's just more affordable.
Right.
Lots of good core family values down there too.
Mm-hmm.
And like Abbotsford and Chilliwack too. Like, are they kind of connected? Would you say in the real estate world?
Kind of like Richmond to Vancouver.
Okay.
So they're like
enough.
different, but they're close.
Yeah. I went to this little town in Chilliwack. It's like a little like new town. They like made it into this little
garrison.
Like, garrison.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
It is so cute.
I'm like, I can live here.
Oh.
And then I realized I can't. Because everything's over here for me. I could do it.
So how was that transition? I'm curious, working in a market for 10 years and then kind of starting, it was a
restart.
Yeah,
I had to learn from the very
Did you
beginning.
Like it?
It was a little nerve-wracking. There was this sense of like romance though, like starting new in a town. It sounds like a Hallmark movie,
Right.
So there was that kind of fun and building new friendships and building friendships together. We were both brand new to the town. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I had to do kind of all the basics. I started going on the realtor tours just to see properties. And so I'd hop in a car with a bunch of agents and we'd all do a tour and see the new listing. So I went back to basics, started doing open houses again. And yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow. So what was the trajectory? So obviously you did fairly well and, with your first 10 years, but then there's a point where you started taking off, right?
Yeah. And that was kind of, Abbotsford was like the launching pad. And then it just kind of kept doubling from that point a couple times from there. And then it's been stable since.
Yeah. So like, what is that trajectory? So you were a solo agent working independently. Yeah, please.
And then I started to outsource a little bit of help with part-time admin support.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a taste of that. And I was like, oh, this is nice. I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to fill out this
What did you
form.
outsource?
Just basic stuff like it would be the equivalent of SkySlope. Paperwork, basically. Right. And then I had my 2 boys that were 5 and 7. And I think that also further launched my career because I was like, I got mouths to feed and I only have so many hours in the day and I want to spend time with my kids. So then I really increased my efficiency and built out systems. And then I built out more support, so more admin support, and then built out the team. I've got a buyer's agent, and then my husband's coming on as a licensed realtor as well.
So exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Empire building. So excited. I was sitting next to you at the Vegas.
In Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas. And we were sitting next to each
So
other,
fun.
and I was realizing that we did it, for those that do not know, we did a great series called the C-Suite series.
So good.
And we will be bringing it to the office as well. But we thought it would be kind of a fun one to launch in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, there was types of people that you're kind of most closely related to, whether you're a CEO or a CFO or a COO.
Right.
And I was sitting next to her and I just started hearing like a little kind of giggles, a couple like pen marking. And I realized, oh, I'm sitting next to a COO.
Yeah.
This woman is an operator.
Yes.
And obviously Arlene Chang is really that
Yes,
person
she
for
is.
us.
Right.
So
I love Arlene.
you two are like 2 peas in a pod that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Tell me what makes you how that person, that COO, makes a great leader.
Yeah. Well, Arlene and I are similar because we both have to put up with Michael. So
Yes. I know.
We've learned lots of patience.
yes. Being patient.
CEO is, for me, I just like efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to waste time. And I want to know if I'm going to go get a listing, it's going to be quick. And then I'm going to do things at my highest and best use. And then all the other things I can outsource to other people where they're doing their highest and best use.
Right.
So I think that's my superpower with running the team is just that I think of efficiencies and try to improve wherever we can.
Oh, yeah. I think that your other team member who's the buyer's agent, are they mostly out running around?
Yeah. And she does listings as well. But yeah, so I specifically, when I built out the team, I created this avatar in my head of exactly what I wanted in a realtor. And then she ticked every single box. So it was like, hallelujah, she's just perfect. So I wanted somebody in particular that was available evenings and weekends because I didn't want to work evenings and weekends anymore. I want to be home with my kids and spend time with the family. And so she was available on those times. And so how we do it is when we meet the clients, we go together.
Okay.
And then we just kind of explain to them how we work. And I like to pre-frame a lot of things for the clients. So their expectations aren't that they can call me at Sunday at 10 o'clock and I'm going to pick up my phone. They know that we work as a team.
Right.
And that we try to operate as much as possible during business hours. But for evenings and weekends, we will accommodate them.
Wow.
I love the idea of pre-framing.
Yes,
I
we
think
do
a
a lot of
lot
that.
of the pre-frame.
Because you just want to set expectations
Yeah.
well for your clients, right? Like, you know, and if they have this expectation, especially if they've been working with you in the past and it was
Yes.
like this a certain way
Different.
before,
Yes.
and that you've changed and adopted your team. Because, you know, all of us have real estate teams that we run. And, you know, basically you have to kind of go through that shift. And doing so and framing it out in a way that can kind of anticipate and be proactive with those expectations is something that's really important. And I learned that the hard way because you know, people would expect certain things like this is not how it was before. I'm like, ooh.
Me too.
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way too. And they were
Right.
like really good clients and they would drop you. They'd be like, we're going to leave you if you can't do it this way.
Oh,
So pre-frame is really important.
yes, setting
Mhm.
expectations ahead of time.
Yes. And sometimes you can't. Some people,
Right.
They're like, I don't care.
we want you.
Yeah.
So obviously managing, I think a lot of people look at you and they're like, how do you deal with this team and being a mom and being a wife? What are some tips and tricks for those people?
Oh, well, I've taken
Ooh.
lots of courses on time management. My sister ran a course called How to Live a Balanced Life.
Oh, cool.
So I put that on for some clients a few years ago and I have every team member go through it as well. So I really
interesting.
value everybody having a balanced life. I think it's important to have passions because at the end of the day, we're people first, not just realtors.
Right.
So tips and tricks are just kind of looking. I mean, I live in Google Calendar. right? So I think of my life in 15-minute increments, especially when it gets really busy. And so if I know, I'm like, okay, am I going to spend 8 15-minute increments watching this TV show, or am I going to do something more productive with my time? But sometimes it's like, yeah, I do want to spend that time, but then at least you know that you've colored in. I use coloring things to look at it to be like, at least I know
Color
that
codes.
I have
Time blocking.
Yeah. Yes, time blocking is huge.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So that for you to
So what's that course called, Marites?
It's called How to Live a Balanced Life.
How to Live a Balanced Life.
So my sister, she's in the hedge fund industry in the Cayman Islands.
Yeah.
So she had over 200 employees. She's been different boards. So she did this course for executives all over the world, New York, all different places.
Wow.
And she just figured it out because she's my oldest sister, so she's really bossy. So
Take charge.
I said, I should take credit for this because she bossed me for many years. So she's learned how to manage her time well, and I just learned from her, basically.
Right.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So what are some of the core principles of that course, would you say, Marites?
To habit stack. I mean, there's lots of books on that too, but
Okay, what is habit stacking?
So that would be doing two things at the same time, but multitasking in a smart way. So if you want to hang out with your friend, instead of just like sitting and having coffee, then you would have lunch together because you need to eat anyways, or do a fitness class together because you need to tick off that box for fitness.
Right.
So you do it with two people. I do that a lot with work and clients. A lot of my business called Moving Friends Forward. So my clients are my friends. So if I'm going to an event and my friends are coming with me, I consider that networking, but I'm hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
So it's like a 2-for-1.
Habit
So
stacking.
clever.
Yeah. That is great.
Like, oh man.
Or like, your dentist or your chiropractor, like they should all be clients.
I love the moving friends forward.
Yeah. How did
This
you come
makes
up with
me
that?
super
Yeah, so
happy.
you're with-
I'm a marketing person. I'm like, that is so smart.
It's not me. I hired a marketing person who's
Oh,
smarter.
Yeah.
So it's somebody that I knew since high school. And so she's known me a long time, and we figured out kind of who I am. I'm really big on like figuring out your core identity, your core values, your mission statement, your value, your why, all that kind of stuff. So she looked at all those pieces and asked me, like, what is your database currently like? I said, well, it's mostly friends, because at the time I was pretty young when we established this. And I said, it's mostly friends, people my age, and like, I just want to help them. I want to help people get to the next stage of their life. I want to be the agent they recommend. And then she came up with this tagline, Moving Friends Forward. And I was like, brilliant.
Such a good tagline.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like her a lot. This is making me really happy. I think you're very happy.
Right.
Some people are like, it's so cheesy. I'm like, well, I'm cheesy.
Cheesy's
Like,
good. Cheesy's
Yeah.
always
That's who
good.
I am.
If you just embrace it, that's all. It's all
It's
good.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So you mentioned something that you're good at kind of figuring out people's values and their motivation. So is that innate, or is that something?
No,
that
I've done lots of like leadership training. My husband comes from the church world, so there's lots of leadership training that he does that I kind of sneak onto. And then I've had a coach for many years, different coaches over the years. And so part of that coaching is to establish and figure out your why. And then you build out, we have the 4 core for our team, the core values, and then everything funnels out based on that. So if it doesn't match the core values, we don't do it.
Right.
Touch it.
No.
That's so good.
How did you meet your husband? I'm like, how did you guys
I feel like
meet
I'm on a
each other?
date. I'm working.
I want to know, because you guys are really like a team.
We're super
in all
team-oriented.
ways. And
Yes.
a lot of people say, don't get into business with your spouse.
Well,
And
yeah.
the question is, why are you doing it?
We've worked together for many years, but he was in the driver's seat for a long time. As the pastor, it was like, okay, we're going to go wherever his church is because we have to support the community. So I always went where he was going. And if he was running a church event, I was helping him run it and do the details. He's not a COO type. He's like loves people. Like he's like a dog, basically, just like,
It's like a
anybody,
bear.
human. Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, I love you.
Yeah, everyone loves Tyson. And so I've been helping him with his ministry work for many, many years. And then he said to me, he's like, I feel like a season's coming up where I need to support you more. And at the time, I was looking for a male realtor to join my team that fit my core values. And then I was like, I don't know who to find. And they have to work well with all these women on the team. And then Tyson actually got laid off. And then it was like, okay, maybe this is a door opening, because he's a classic realtor, loves people, loves to network.
Classic.
And he's like, should I get into real estate? I was like, no. Like what you're doing is important. People need you in your role. And so everything just kind of lined up and it made sense. And so he's like,
Meant to
okay,
be.
Yeah.
Meant to be.
Yeah. He's an opener and I'm a closer. So he likes initiating the relationships, getting to know people. And then I like the closing side of like, okay, let's get them through the system and close it out. And so I think we work really well together.
Yeah.
Opening
How
and
is
closing.
it? But it's been
Love
pretty
that.
short. Well, you've been working together in the church community for a long time. But the dynamics are the dynamics the same? Have they changed at all or?
Well, I'm going to be more in the team lead kind of role for this one.
Right.
But like I said before, it was always him running the ministry events.
Sure.
Yeah, but we've ran lots of we'll do neighborhood block parties or something, and we do those together. He's really good at being the upfront guy, so we always stick the mic in front of him. And then he looks at me, he's like, what am I supposed to say? And then I'm like,
yeah.
Like us.
Yeah, totally.
He's like, take it. And I'm like, okay, I guess I have to. I'm the opener. You're the closer.
Right. No, that's so good, to see, because we love family business, and I think it's something that is great that you can build it together and support each other and spend more time together too, right?
Well, that was kind of one of the benefits. And we really believe in healthy marriages. I think that's really important. He does a lot of premarital counseling. He officiates he's doing 8 weddings in August or something like that.
Oh, wow.
So he does some premarital counseling. Sometimes I'll come in.
Do you need a house with that?
Do you need a house with
Side
that?
Order of
side order of a mortgage.
So that's cool that you guys are so connected in all ways, which is great. And then you have 2 kids.
We have 2 little boys. Yeah, they're 5 and 7.
I love watching her Instagram account on those kids.
They are not afraid. Speaking of esteem running out of kids' ears, they are so proud of themselves. They have a TikTok video that went viral, 8 million views.
8 million?
They went flying down a mattress down the stairs. It was not safe at all.
Yeah.
There's some comments on there that you guys are bad parents.
Child Protective Services are knocking at the door.
Exactly. But they just love being with people, and they're like, Mom, film this. Watch me do this. I'm like, oh, they're such hams.
Yes. They're definitely more raised with a camera in their hands.
Oh, yes.
Than we were, right?
Totally.
We were totally had to be patient and bored.
Yeah. Exactly. Here's a pen. I'm like, ooh, a pen.
Yeah, my pen. This is something we could do.
Yes.
Well, I think
improv.
It's so great too, because all these experiences lead us to something that we're gonna. We haven't done a formal announcement of this, but I guess we'll do that.
Let's go for it.
So, Marites is our director of agent development for our Fraser Valley office that's coming up, and we have a special announcement as well that we're opening a Langley office.
Yeah.
On 284th in Langley. So that'll be our headquarters for Fraser Valley.
Yes.
And, Marites is going to be the cornerstone of our of that office. So we're just so pleased and happy and honored and grateful to have her part of our team. So we thought it would be great for us to announce all this on the podcast. So Oakwyn, Fraser Valley, Oakwyn, Langley will be opening this fall. So we're just undergoing renovations right now.
More like winter. Winter, fall.
Fall, yeah.
Winter.
Fall, winter.
Yeah, winter, yeah. Fall,
Sorry.
winter, yeah. Winter, yeah.
Winter.
We're just... So Morgan's husband, Sean, is doing the renovations. It's winter, next year.
I mean, no, you know what? We're so excited. First of all, this is huge news.
Yeah.
This is big news. We believe in doing things right, and we have to find the right people to come along with us. And Marites has really just filled that space for us. It filled any doubt we had moving into this space. So we want to thank you so much for even being a part of this crew, part of this leadership. We have been scouting for a location for a very long time.
Yeah.
Mike has been out there a lot.
Right.
And then he calls in okay, Morgan, Arlene, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
And we found a location that is really bar none, I think, going to be the best for our people there.
It's beautiful.
And it's big and it's badass.
Yeah.
So
right.
I don't only my husband's not only doing even the construction for it, but the design, I've just kind of checked off all the design and it looks fantastic.
It looks so
yes.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Swanky.
And it's in a new area called tell us a little bit about the
it's
area.
called Latimer Heights.
Right.
So it's got lots of cool new coffee shops. I just drove by. There's a new one that just opened literally right below the office.
Yeah, the Artigiano.
Yeah,
right?
that just opened. It's got a ton of development all down that whole road. Lots of new construction coming. So it's really a cool up and coming kind of vibrant area for Langley. And I'm so excited and honored that you guys asked me to be the director of agent development. Tyson calls me the dad, D-A-D, director of agent development.
Oh, that's good.
I'm going to be a good dad. I'm going to wear a calf socks and New Balance shoes. And
Good. I love a New Balance.
I'm like that.
And I'm going to be a good dad. I'm going to check in on my agents and be like, good job, son. I'm very proud of you today.
Yes. What are you mostly, obviously we have not been out there yet. What are you excited about for Oakwyn as a whole to be out there? Like, what is the feeling?
Yeah, well, I'm most excited about Oakwyn coming to Langley just because we're not super known out there. The O is still a little bit unknown in some parts. And so I think we've got a lot of agents out there, but in terms of presence in the industry, that's something I'm looking forward to build.
Yeah, building that reputation.
Yeah,
right?
awesome.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And you have so much experience, in kind of being coached yourself, but you've mentored a lot of people in your, in the church community and in other aspects. You want to share what some of your philosophies on coaching and mentorship?
Man, I totally am 100% on coaching, mentorship, and in all areas of life, not just business. I've got a spiritual coach, I got a fitness coach, I've got business coaching. I think having somebody who's maybe a couple steps ahead of you, they don't necessarily have to be way ahead of you. Even peer coaching, mastermind groups, accountability, all those things that I think we like to think that we could just do on our own. When I stopped getting my fitness coach, it was like, oh, yeah, I can do this on my own. I don't really need her. But actually, I do. I need somebody that checks in on me, that has a bit of a program. So I think mentorship is really important if you want to keep the momentum going. As self-disciplined as we all like to be. And I think of myself as pretty disciplined, but even still, I need that coaching. And I believe in having somebody just cheer you on to and encourage you.
Right.
Not just be like, hey, you've got to make your calls, but somebody that's like, hey, I know you had a really hard day, but let's pick up again. Let's try again tomorrow. You know what? You had a really great week last week. Don't forget that client who loves you. Read that review again and then go make that next phone call.
Right.
Awesome. I love you. I just like smile like a puppy dog with their chest. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Right. And, I think it's great because Marites has actually, gone through such a long, it's been like 18 years.
Yeah, I'm in my 19th year.
19th year, right?
Oh, yeah. We had to have a 20 party.
Yes.
Right. And, obviously gone through all the ups and downs of different market conditions. Obviously, being a solo agent, the frustrations and benefits of that, but also growing a team as well that's been successful. And you're a multiple year medallion winner as well.
Master medallion.
Master medallion.
You can call me Master Marites.
I will.
Yes, Master.
Yes, Master.
So, and, obviously that's being in the top 10% of the Fraser Valley market for 5+ years. Yeah. So that's a fantastic achievement. So
obviously, you're talking about how many agents are in the Fraser Valley? What is the exact number?
I think 4,000.
I think that there's something
5,400 or something like that.
5 to 10,000. Yeah,
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I should know.
But
that's a lot.
Yeah, and it's such a changing market as well. And obviously, even the time you've been in the Fraser Valley over the last 10 years, it's really changed, right?
Yeah, it's really developed.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much exciting and new things, and we want to build a better standard.
Yes.
For brokerages in the Fraser Valley, where we are able to implement our values, our philosophy, and how we want to treat the agent experience is going to be something that Marites is going to be able to shape with us in Langley, which is going to be very exciting. And I know something that Marites just did was something that a lot of agents are talking about now, which is you put on an event the other day. What was that event?
So a few realtors were chatting about going to see the Barbie movie together. And I said, well, instead of having the poor servers have to swipe like 50 credit cards, why don't I just buy out the theater? You guys help me sell some tickets. Let's get all the realtors together and have fun. And then I end up getting a couple sponsors for prizes, best dressed, some appetizers. Thank you, Oakwyn. And I created an Eventbrite, threw it out there, put it on social media. And we had about 60 people show up.
Wow.
And it was a great opportunity for agents to connect. And I was saying, like, our industry's pretty lonely.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of agents kind of work as these lone wolves, but they do want community. They do want friends.
They do.
Right.
And so I think creating a space for them to have fun and get dressed up. And it was actually really
awesome.
easy to get people to come.
And dressed up.
And like bathrobes, like ridiculous costumes and fake dogs and purses. And
I love that.
all sorts
so
of
cool.
pink high heels. Like just a fun event.
Yeah.
Is that your like motto in life, really, to bring people together?
Yes, it is. That's part of my why. I love creating safe spaces for people just to connect and have fun. I think that's a really important part of the human experience, not just realtors, but just to build community around us. We do that in every area of our life, whether that's through colleagues with realtors, through clients and client events, and community church life with our neighborhood. Like that's just what we like doing. It's fun.
To do.
And in our industry, you know, because it's classically been very competitive. And I remember when Marites and I first started in real estate, like, you know, we were the young kids on the block. We had to huddle in a corner by ourselves.
Crying.
I got your 6, Michael.
And, you know, and it was kind of like this.
I don't know why Ninja Turtles just flashed through my mind with you two.
Oh, yeah?
Like Ninja Turtle, let's go.
Which Ninja Turtle would you be?
I was actually a Ninja Turtle dancer for their TV show.
I am obsessed with you.
So random.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's my claim to fame.
Okay. Did you have to dress up as a turtle?
No, I was a ninja.
Oh, you were a ninja.
I was in the ninjas, yeah.
Okay, you're a foot soldier then.
Yeah.
I know a little bit too much about the Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
Who would you be?
Ooh, I would like to be Donatello, the smart one.
Yeah.
So there was Donatello, the smart one. There was Leonardo, the leader. And there was Michelangelo, the goofy one, and then Raphael, the rebel. And they're all named after Italian artists.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
And it's a very interesting thing.
And, because the rat met them.
Yeah, but then the origin story of the
We're doing a deep dive today, guys.
The origin story of the Ninja Turtles.
I have a brother, so you know.
So there's these two starving artists that they just had an obsession of comic books. They love fantasy art, and they were these two friends that basically which is very unique and I don't know why I'm sharing this.
I love how into it he is.
I am so into comics.
This is what's happening.
So they're so into. It was one of the first comic books that was drawn and written by two people. So they would pass back the storyboards and they would like add their layering. So it's such a unique style of comics. So it took them forever to actually produce anything, but then that's how it started.
Thank you.
Little do you know.
I think
I don't know if you wanted to know that, but now you do.
Now I do.
Yeah.
I think you'd be the leader one.
I don't know. I'd be the one eating the pizza.
Yeah, the pizza guy.
Yeah.
I think I'd be the rat.
It's Master Splinter, by the way.
I'll be Master Splinter.
Yeah. But and speaking of this new role, like what are you looking forward to the most? Is it building the community or is it
That's the best part is I've just been meeting with agents every once in a while, just connecting with them, hearing their stories. And it's so fascinating to hear their different journeys of their career and surprising how many of them just don't have somebody that's checking in on them. And it's just a simple thing, just to be like, how's your business doing? Is there anything I can help you with?
Right.
And like, they're like, wow, thank you. You've been so helpful. I'm like, I didn't do anything.
Right.
So I'm really looking forward to kind of caring for the community. My husband said, like we joked about switching careers. I'm like, I want to be a pastor, but I don't want to go to school and learn all this stuff. Like, but I love the idea of like caring and shepherding for people.
Right.
So I love that I get to do that through the office, but then also use the field that I'm most versed in, which is real estate.
Yeah. We were really looking forward to changing like the culture of the industry to being really helpful, being really supportive, being really collaborative and community forward. And, that means getting in touch with each other and connecting with one another as well. And so, especially after the whole pandemic thing, there's it's kind of gone now, but there was a bit of a hesitation to connect again. And sometimes there's residual effects of those things.
People get comfortable staying at home and watching it on Zoom and not wanting to come.
Yeah. And I really I'm just so sick of that. I just want to go back to kind of, doing things in person again. And also just having, because I think that's how human beings learn the best too, by
being together.
By being together and sitting down one-on-one, going for a meal, going for coffee, and being able to contribute. And I've seen so many great plateaus being burst through. I almost saw them live, while sitting down with an agent, working with them on their business, and I could see something just click. Something just clicked. Some spark just happened, and then they just take that and they run with it, and they change their own independent future, but they also change the future of many people around them too. So we've just seen
sometimes it's just a simple mindset thing. It's just a shift in going actually, if you just bring value, because for me it was I'm so young, and at the place I was the only Asian person. I was why would they hire me? I'm kind of the odd one out. And I remember someone said to me, if you just bring incredible value, nobody's going to care.
No.
And it was this tiny little mindset thing. And all of a sudden I had way more confidence. And so it can be
told
the most thing.
You should just lie through your teeth that you're older and wear a wedding ring.
Is that what you did?
Thanks, Keith Roy.
I know Keith.
He won't care if I told him
that's
that.
too
But
funny.
he's you're too young.
Put on a ring.
Put on a ring.
Pulled it like a
Anyways, but guess what?
hair.
I didn't, and it was okay.
Right.
And you made it.
And I made it. No, that's amazing. I think I'm most excited from what I'm getting from the crew out in Langley is that they're ready to raise standards.
Yes.
There.
Yeah.
And not
raise
standards the way that you think of it is. I think a lot of people think, okay, standard of the branding or standard of care. It's actually more about care to their clients. And you do this beautifully. I think you talked about, moving your friends, moving your family, really being a part of that community more. But it's also just about listening and creating this experience.
Yes.
And I think the Fraser Valley is really looking for agents that are going to create not just a transaction,
right,
but they're going to be raising the bar in the customer service up to the client.
Yeah, that's
right. So I've noticed that just in conversations, we're excited for Oakwyn to come out because this is how a lot of the Oakwynites do it in Vancouver. We really are excited to see those agents that are attracted to that in the Fraser Valley. Do you think there's some truth to that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think the standards are definitely going to be raised. I said to Michael, we're going to raise the bar out here. It's going to be awesome. And we're so excited to bring good quality agents that care about those things. Because it's one thing to be, I think the quantity will come if you bring the quality.
Oh,
you don't always have to
100%.
focus on I'm just going to do 100 sales. It's just focus on being awesome at what you do and have the clients love you and do such a good job for them. And then the quantity will follow.
It'll come.
Absolutely. So what are some of the things you do for your clients that are a bit extra, a little bit different? We try to kind of copy the dentist. And so, when you go into the dentist and they're like, well, Marites, you still in real estate? And how's your kid doing? They've kept notes on your last visit and then they've reviewed them before you come in. Oh, okay.
So I thought that was
What
really
dentist
smart.
are you going to?
They give you a little massage.
Right.
So we like to know, have the clients fill out a get to know you form so we know what their favorite restaurant is, their Starbucks drinks, and then we can bring those for them. Or when they do a referral, then we give them a gift card to their favorite restaurant, not just a generic place that they'll never go to.
It's a thoughtful gift.
Love that.
Yeah.
And then when we do the gift baskets at the end, we review those notes as well and try to customize it to the clients.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I think some of these little extra things that create that memory, that positive memory, and makes people feel like a certain way that they actually personalize this. Yeah, that's something that's huge. Yeah,
I feel like you have gone through a couple of these ups and downs in the market.
Yes.
I think there's some people listening right now that might need some of that coaching motivation. tell me, like, give some pieces of advice. Drop some notes here for people.
In this market.
In this market. This market.
I think you always go back to basics, right? So buyers are scared. They're a little bit on the fence. So you kind of have to shift them off of that and get them focused on what do they want long term. So these are high level conversations, not like, okay, do you want a 3-bedroom house? It's like, what do you want for your family in 5 years from now? You know, your kid's going to be 18 at that time. They're going to be moving out. Where do you envision yourself? Okay. And then like you reverse engineer it for the client and actually create a plan for them. Not just like, oh, let's go show you a house tomorrow, right? It could be a long-term plan. I mean, this is a bit of a longer, plan to get the client in the future.
Right.
But it can translate to them referring you currently. So I would say really high quality, high level conversations with clients. And then back to the basics, right? Doing the open houses, calling through, and it doesn't have to be like a sales call. And some people they're scared of the phone.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, if you're calling to care, like if somebody called me, I was like, Marites, I'm just calling to check in on you. Like, how are you doing? I know interest rates went up. Like, are you guys okay? Do you need any advice? Do you need financial planning? Do you need like a budgeting tool I can forward to you to review? Like, are you looking for a part-time job doing something? I know a lot of people that have businesses. Like, what's your skill set?
Definitely.
Like trying to bring value and not just like, hey, do you want to sell? It's
Like, how can I help you?
How can I help?
I think a lot of people, especially in like when there's fear in the marketplace, they hide. They get kind of scared and they're scared to reach out. They're scared like, oh, okay,
they're going to be mad at me that rates went up.
Yeah, rates went up. They're going to be upset with me. Like I sold them that place 2 years ago and it's probably worth a little bit less. So now, I can't call them. Like, so like, that's something that you can't hide. You can't, you have to face, the challenges, the obstacles. You can't kind of avoid people as well, because then that's when you can start plateauing and actually seeing the kind of the decline is when you stop kind of expending those efforts and doing the things that led you to get to the place you're at, right? And I think that's a huge piece of advice.
Do you guys have like a specific, because you have so many systems of touch points to your clients? Like how many you touch in a year?
I mean, the kind of rule of thumb is 8 per year.
Okay, great.
Whether that's through a phone call, a client event, an in-person pop by. So we try to hit for 8. It's not always consistent, but then we also use a calendar so that we know like, okay, we have to do a touch point. And certain clients, if we know they're going to move in 2 years, then they're on a different schedule than a client who's going to move in 5 years.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't want to call.
So you customize.
Yeah. You don't want to call somebody that's not moving for 5 years every week, right? They're going to be like, okay, take it easy, right?
I think that's so. I think there's a lot of agents out there that have been in the business for as long as we all have. And they're afraid because they haven't been doing it in 10 years. I just walked through the office yesterday and someone's like, I'm too afraid to have a client appreciation, but I haven't done one ever. Oh. And I said, this is a perfect time to start.
I will help them.
Right? This is a perfect time to start. And I think encouraging that action is super important. The last 2 years have been very different for everyone. Some people have had very hot businesses and haven't had time to spend with their clients. I want to give everyone the faith to just get out there and just even start. It doesn't have to be awkward.
Yes. And it can be a small client appreciation event. If 10 people come, you post a couple pictures and you get some momentum. Even doing this Barbie event, I've never done one before at Cineplex. And so I learned, okay, this has to change with the catering. This has to change with the video screen. And I've taken notes. So now I know when I do a client appreciation event, I've kind of ironed out all those wrinkles.
Right.
I'm taking that from her. But even for myself, I mean, I've been very busy for the last couple of years and I was like, okay, I haven't been able to reach out. So I just started to do like 10 or 5 to 10 cards every day, just quick in the morning, boom, boom, boom. And I sent out like a ice cream, like a little earnest ice cream to every one of them.
I saw that.
And the amount of people that called me and said, thanks for the ice cream.
Right.
It's just like a lean way of just giving a call and saying, hi, how are you? Can I help you? Right.
Totally. We're doing
ice cream.
I know. I need to get on that list.
I'm kidding.
You want ice cream?
Yes.
Yeah. We used to live like really close to an ice cream shop.
Yeah, we used to live like so close to
2 blocks away from Ernest. It was dangerous.
So Morgan and I used to live across the street from each other.
Before that, we lived down the block from each other.
Down the block from each other.
And now we live 3 blocks away from each other.
Yeah.
I keep on following him.
Maybe. Or someone might be saying, hey, it's pretty nice over here.
Ice cream's a good
it's
idea.
actually a convenience thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta see him all the time.
Right.
Make sure he's working.
Exactly. Driving by his house. Is he home?
Yeah. I can see you in your bathrobe, Michael. Get to work.
Right.
That's so exciting for you. And you're just setting this bar every single day. We're so thankful for you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And you're right. Just making some time for your clients is super important.
So in this next chapter, Marites, what are you looking forward to the most, and what message would you like to cast forward for us?
Oh, I'm so looking forward to creating an office where people walk in and they say, this feels different. You know, where they go, this feels good. And agents feel supported and they collaborate and help each other. And I run like little mastermind kind of groups with realtors, and we always like help each other and get different ideas. And so I'd like to see that, but on a bigger level.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
Basically like one big mastermind group.
Wow, fantastic. Well,
I'm coming.
We're excited for all that. And so thank you so much, Marites, for being part of the
having me.
podcast today. You're awesome.
My pleasure.
And if you guys want to get in touch with Marites, if you're from the Fraser Valley, you can always touch base. So Marites, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram a lot. I'm one of those. So it's just my name at Marites Kliem, Kliem. Or I'm a realtor, so you can just Google me.
Find me.
Right.
Find me.
Yeah.
All my information is all over the internet. You can text me.
Yeah.
But love to meet with people. Love going for coffees with agents and hopping on calls. So anytime.
Awesome. Thank you. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, Morgan, what do we do?
We rate 5 out of 5 on that platform
Yes.
of choice, people.
Right.
And give us a little tidbit of who you'd like to hear from and what you want to hear from us on those notes. But also, if you'd like to join Oakwyn, go to oakwyn.com/join and put in that message box.
Unite 2023,
Yes.
and you'll receive a free piece of mystery swag. Okay, guys, till next time. Thanks so much for
Thank
listening.
you.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye.